In studying this stuff, I shake my head. I don't know about you. I'm coming through the book of Mark. 3 years they spent with the Son of Man. They spent 3 years with him. They saw him walk on water. They saw him heal the blind, the deaf. They saw him raise people from the dead. They saw all this stuff. Listen, he told them, in Mark alone, he told them 3 times, I'm going to be betrayed. I'm going to be handed over to the Roman government. They are going to crucify me. And 3 days later, I'm going to rise from the dead. I'm just telling you guys, anybody that has a 3-year track history of coming through time and time and time and time, time and time and time and time. And he said, listen, the stone's going to be rolled away and I'm going to come up out of that grave. And they still didn't believe. Why? The first possibility, they didn't really care for the messenger. And because they didn't care for the messenger, they didn't want to believe the message. Second reason, maybe they didn't want to be disappointed. I'm a dyed-in-the-wool Dodger fan, which means I know all too well the repetition of the burden of disappointment. Not quite as bad as Angel fans, but still, I know what that is, disappointment. Perhaps after the crucifixion, the disciples' hopes had been dashed and they were hurting, so their defenses got up and they didn't want to believe the good news because they didn't want their hearts to be hurt even further. I think we can agree on a couple of things. First, it must have really slapped to be rebuked by Jesus. For Jesus to look at you and rebuke you. I mean, Chris Rock thought Will Smith could slap. I'm telling you right now, having Jesus rebuke you had to have been like, man, that had to sting. And secondly, I think we can all agree on this. They deserved to be rebuked because Jesus told them 3 times. The only thing that's happening is what he had told them was going to happen, and he had a good track record. God has a good track record. Somebody needs to hear that right now. This is what it means to walk by faith and not by sight. Sometimes if you walk by sight, you get sucked up in how your heart feels because life brings disappointment and you lose faith in what God has said. You may not see it. You may not feel it. You may, just like we sang in that song, through the blessing and the pain, you are worthy. Whether you say yes or no or wait, you are worthy. I will not allow my heart to go to a place to not believe because God has a good track record.